afternoon. How is everybody? I bring you greetings from my boss, Mayor Randy McClement, and I'm glad to be here with my colleague, Helen Profiter, Director of Economic Development for Frederick County, and I'm sure she's bringing greetings from her county executive to you. We have, I believe, from now until 1 o'clock, so we have about 40 minutes, a little less than 40 minutes. We have a lot of slides to go through. We may skip a couple slides as we go through this presentation, but we'll provide the presentation to you so you'll have all the slides in the event that you want to go back and look at any of the data. Is there a remote clicker so we can advance the slides?
All right, that's all right.
I can be your manual clicker if you need.
Okay.
Okay.
Does that help?
So let me just say that some reference was made to the presidential election and whether or not that results in a robust, housing cycle in the year following. And I think that if you look back, I've always heard that that was the case. And there are a fair number of federal officials and federal employees that work in the Frederick area. So one would presume that there will be some, maybe not as much as down in the D.C. area, but there would be some activity up in this area as a result of that. I'm going to hand it over to Helen.
Good afternoon, everyone. It's okay if we don't have a clicker. We'll just say that awful next slide comment, and somebody can just tap it if that's okay. So real quick, before we get started, does anyone in the room shop or drink alcohol? Anyone? Anyone? A couple? Just a few. I thought realtors shopped and drank a lot. I heard you guys drank a lot. So anyway, we brought some for you to know about and for you to give to clients. Shop Downtown, which is certainly the city of Frederick, but it's also some of our other smaller downtowns. And we've just put together a brochure that is like flying off of our racks, which is wineries, distilleries, and breweries. So Richard and I are going to talk about how that truly is an emerging market, but this is what's driving people to come and spend time in Frederick. So let's go ahead and get started with the first slide. Anytime you're talking about Frederick, you're talking about our region. So Frederick does not work in its own little silo, although we think it's the best place to be in the region. We truly are in a region, and we're in a region that's super, super powerful. So when you think about the East Coast, there wouldn't be a better place to be to get either north or south or west than Maryland. So we feel that Maryland is such a central part of the East Coast, but when you even bring from the East Coast down to what we call kind of the capital region, which is Northern Virginia, D.C., Montgomery County, and Frederick calls itself the Northern Anchor, we really do populate ourselves quite well. And there's a lot of data on these slides. We can send this link off to FCAR and you all can all have it. So you don't have to take lots of notes and that kind of thing. But our economy's getting better faster than other areas of the United States, and we're more educated, which means that we have more spending dollars, we have higher aspirations in employment and whatnot. So it really is a good place to be.
Awesome. Next slide. So we have been gaining some recognition nationally and internationally for that, educational attainment and quality of life that Frederick presents, the job opportunities, and you can see a few of those accolades here. Whenever you start getting recognized on lists with other great cities, you can immediately start to see people on the streets that are coming to see well, what is it about Frederick that is unique, or what is it about this quality of life? And some of the, accolades result in people walking around literally with that article or that ad or that, accolade in their back pocket, to go to the places that are mentioned in that. Next slide.
So this is a slide that talks about our population. So we're fortunate, different than Baltimore. Baltimore County and Baltimore City are not connected. Frederick City and Frederick County are within each other, if that makes sense. So within the city of Frederick, they have 67,000, which is the second largest city in Maryland, obviously with Baltimore City being the largest. So we're quite proud that we beat Annapolis and some other areas like that. And then within the county, we have a little over 245,000. We are the 7th largest county in the state by population. We are the largest by land mass. And we're growing at a manageable rate. Some people might want to argue that, but I'm glad we're growing. Businesses are glad we're growing. Businesses won't locate here unless they know that they have a pipeline of employees. That's one of the first questions they ask. So it's good to have a positive trend. Obviously, everyone in this room wants Frederick to grow by population, because then they'd be buying homes and whatnot. But we're not growing too fast, which is really nice. We're not making bad decisions for too much growth.
Next slide. So you can see here that the median household income of Frederick County and also the city are higher than that of the state. And, that is in large part because of the quality of jobs that are here and the incomes that people are bringing home. Additionally, I'll just say that, both the city and the county post a very, very good ratio of housing units to jobs in the city. For instance, we have about 27,000 housing units and we have about 50,000 jobs. So you can do the math. We're very close to a 2-to-1 ratio on our jobs to housing units, which is pretty good. Next slide.
So this is talking about who makes up Frederick County. What of the big pie, what makes us up? So it's easy to say that 16% is government, and obviously Fort Detrick, the National Cancer Institute, etc., fall into making that a big slice of the Frederick County pie. Trades and transportation and utilities. Utilities is always a big part of a county to make that up, so that's not a surprise. But what we really like is the professional and business services and leisure and hospitality. That really is growing. So as Richard said, we're smart and we have a business community that is thriving in professional type jobs. In economic development, you want jobs for everyone, right? We want everyone to work. So we need retail jobs, we need construction jobs, we need manufacturing jobs, we need professional and business services. So it's nice to see that we have all of those types of jobs in our county.
And you can see here who the major employers are in Frederick County, and most of us know who they are. The ones with asterisks beside them are businesses that are, or organizations that are located physically within the city of Frederick. And again, we are proud of the fact that we have major employers. And although the vast majority of our businesses are small businesses, these major employers make a huge difference in our economy, and they help provide a base and a stability of folks who can afford to buy housing and to provide spending in our retail establishments and service establishments. Next slide.
So we're very proud that chart there is a stair step going upwards, because in many areas it isn't. It's plateaued off. So we're incredibly happy that we are growing jobs in Frederick County. Last year alone, we gained over 3,000 jobs, and that speaks to where we are in our region and how fortunate we are to be connected to life science and other technology-related industries that continue to grow. Currently, what we're seeing is we're not having, and I don't know that Frederick has ever really grabbed a prospect from the Midwest and California and brought them all the way over here. But what we do see is a natural roll of businesses from the south up, and I don't mean south like North Carolina, South Carolina. I'm talking closer south, like Montgomery County and Virginia. So that's where we see businesses rolling up from, and it is in those jobs that are more technology related, and with that comes manufacturing. We're going to talk a little bit about AstraZeneca and what that means for Frederick, but we're very happy with this slide, and it's our job to keep the slide going up and the stairs going up.
And it's worth pointing out, you may have figured this out, but these statistics, wherever it has a county number, that county number includes the city. So if it says 99,000 jobs in the county, 49,000 of those are in the city. I just want to make it clear that those numbers are not added together. They're the city numbers within the county number. And when you look at employment job growth, you can see the areas here where we've had significant jobs added. And in biotech, leading the way there with over 200 new jobs. But in education, manufacturing, healthcare and social services, tourism, all of these are areas where we have been adding jobs consistently in this economy. And it's important that you have a balance of jobs, because you have people at all, both educational attainment levels and skill levels. So having a variety of jobs from retail all the way up to highly technical, scientific kind of jobs within the community allows the community to have that wide, variety of, provide for a wide variety of skills. Additionally, it's really important when we have downturns in the economy, because when one group of jobs or one area or one industry sector is not doing well, very often the other industry sectors can absorb that punch a little bit. Next slide.
So I don't want to spend a lot of time on this. This is just another positive trend of, obviously, when job growth is happening, how is that happening? It's because we're adding more businesses, or businesses that are already here are expanding. So again, we're happy with the positive trend for that.
So you can see here some of the expansions and announcements of new locations from different organizations that have gone on. Again, the ones that are with asterisks are ones that are located within the city. And I think it's a really nice blend of both manufacturing, technology with information technology like Region Education, miscellaneous metals, which obviously is using metal products, and even infotech downtown with Blue Pillar. So it's quite a wide variety, and it's all across the county.
And before we slip to the next slide, I just want to, real quickly, there's been a lot said about AstraZeneca and Flying Dog in the newspaper, so I hope you all are excited about it, because we certainly are. But Costco, so we have the distribution center off of 70. You potentially drive by it every day and don't even even know it's there because it's down under the hill. But what Costco did was came to us and said, where you're located in the highway infrastructure that you have, we're going to put up a mirror image of what we have already in Frederick with 200 jobs, and all those people who are going to work for Costco are going to do e-commerce only. So for all of you who get online and don't walk into Costco, but you shop online at Costco, that's the distribution center that's happening. And why we're excited about that is because when one e-commerce comes, then others hear about Frederick and start coming. So we really are starting to see, somebody gave me a call and said, hey, we heard Amazon was in town, and you know, maybe they didn't knock on my door. I don't know if they knocked on Richard, but that's a really, really good thing to have.
So when you look at construction spending, this looks at permits, and again, these are inclusive numbers here, but when you look at the city and the county, our construction permitting activity continues to be very high, and we continue to drive more dollars in commercial investment in the ground in the community, and that's good because when you have facilities, you are able to typically, in this type of economy, attract businesses to fill those facilities and thus also jobs. Now, in the office area, we will talk about the fact that we're a little soft in office. We've had some major office vacancies, but we are backfilling those, and we will backfill those over the next few years.
So when we were talking about happy that our population is going up, happy that the cost to do commercial building is going up, obviously vacancy and unemployment are trends that we want to see go down. So we are again happy that this is stair-stepping its way down in a very natural way. And I'm not going to say what Richard just said, but we're certainly paying attention to our office space. There's going to be a slide up there that kind of breaks out office and whatnot, but so we're not kind of pie in the sky. We know what Frederick has and the opportunities that we have, but we are happy of this trend.
So you can see the where we are in terms of office, and although the office vacancy rates are down from where they were in the major part of the recession, they still are in the mid-teens, and ideally you'd like to get that number down under 10% to start to see some spec office buildings being built. We have not had but just a couple of very small medical and office spec buildings built since the beginning of the recession here in Frederick County. And of course with Bechtel and the vacancies at their facility, there's a lot of square footage there to backfill.
So again, this is another slide talking about the rental rates. So it's, if you can see there, the black is office, the yellow is flex, and the retail is in the middle with the green. And so that's probably if you compare us to Montgomery County, Howard County, Loudoun County, it's probably pretty equal, but it is something that we're tracking and hoping that our rental rates continue to go up.
So on the residential side of things, you can start to see the percent change here in terms of the sale price. We're up 17% in 2015 over 2011 on the average price of sold units, and in terms of the volume, we're up as well. Now you guys know this industry a lot better than Helen and I do, and you probably could teach us a few things about it, but generally speaking, although it is not the robust housing market that it was before the recession, these numbers are positive numbers compared to some of our peer communities and continue to appear to get better. Are there any downward trends that you guys are aware of that are sending these numbers in a different? We know first-time home buyers are still not jumping into the market though, right? That's the big one, I think, is first-time home buyers are still not jumping into housing markets. Okay.
So So the next slide talks about new housing units and how many permits were issued. And as Richard says, the county numbers include the city of Frederick numbers. So I don't have an answer, you all might, but what happened in 2015 that was a little bit less than 2014, but it's just good to see that although 2015 dipped a little, we're doing much better than we were back in 2008, 2009, those times.
And a lot of those new units were in the city and former apartments for the last few years. And so we know a lot of those unit numbers are coming from multifamily. So location. You heard a little bit about our location within the region and along the I-270 Tech corridor. But a lot of this and the unique opportunities we have from Riverside Research down to Westview and through historic downtown Frederick, and Urbana provide a wide variety of options. And that wide variety of options provides us tools to try and attract tenants and clients and businesses to this community, because as they look for space, they're able to look at both historic space downtown, and they're able to look at vanilla space in a flex space, in a flex industrial or an office park as well, and compare the costs.
Did Richard just call my space vanilla space? So Richard should be talking about this because this is his backyard, but we're proud of it too. So let's talk about Fort Detrick and the National Cancer Institute. And you all know what an economic engine it is for Frederick County. We are pleased and proud of the technologies that Fort Detrick offers. If I was talking to my kids, I'd say stop thinking so highly of sports people and start thinking highly of the people that work at Fort Detrick every day. We're proud of them and we're proud of what they do, but they really do drive business to our area. There are contracts out there that say you must be within 30 miles of Fort Detrick. So we're very fortunate that sometimes when people get those contracts, they have to be located in our area. So a lot is going on at Fort Detrick. And I guess to talk a little bit about what Fort Detrick is. So when we talk about Fort Detrick and economic development, we talk about how Fort Detrick has a cancer bucket, if there's buckets out at Fort Detrick. So many of the institutions out there work on cancer and AIDS. Many work on biological diseases and those kinds of things. And then many work in communications for the entire military. And that cancer, international biologics and communication isn't going to go away. So fortunate that we have what we believe to be a sustainable military base in our community, and we're quite proud of that. So a lot of times people hear about BRAC. What is that? BRAC is base realignment, and we work often to make sure that Fort Detrick is not put on a BRAC list, because everyone can say, oh, the military just spent $5 billion on a new building and they're not going to leave. We never say that because we know that they could, but it's our job to work to make sure that all of our elected officials understand what's happening there and the importance of that in our community.
So we mentioned MedImmune and AstraZeneca. Obviously, they're a major growth partner of ours here in the city of Frederick and in Frederick County. They've had 3 major expansions there, starting with their original construction back in the 90s. And we're very, very pleased that they continue to add jobs and add capital investment in the ground here in Frederick. And a lot of that goes to show that the future of biologics manufacturing is very important globally. This is a very unique facility, one of only a few like it in the world, and the only one in the United States of its character and its capabilities. So it's a very unique facility. We want to continue to cultivate it and get more jobs out of it and more capital investment there.
So we just talked about two of the biggest ones. Now we're going to talk about the other kind of side of the spectrum. In order to keep it great, community, vibrant, we need to also remember about our small businesses, because in the city and in the county, over 90% of our businesses are small businesses. So we respect them and try to provide services to them just like we respect our major employers. So we have staff that work specifically with small businesses. This slide specifically talks about our partnership with the Small Business Development Center. If you are working with someone who is thinking about starting up a business, it's a great place to refer someone to help them finish their business plan if they have one started, connect them to banks in the community, and really get their dream to a reality and open up a storefront or whatever their idea and passion is.
The Frederick Innovative Technology Center is our high-tech incubator. This was an organization started back in 2005 by the county and the city. It started at Hood College. It quickly grew to its current location out at off of English Muffin Way at Monocacy, and occupies more or less the whole first floor of a building out at that location. That building is predominantly used for laboratories for biotech companies, startup biotech companies, although we've had a number of other kind of companies go through it. The county executive recently launched an initiative to open an IT incubator under the same name, a FITSI, downtown at 118 North Market Street in the city. And the reason why it's in an urban environment is because a lot of these IT companies really want to be close to coffee and beer and places that they can walk around and rub shoulders with other IT companies and things like that. So this is a really, really important component of our strategy to continue to incubate companies. These companies are racehorses. They hire faster and pay more than most of our other type of entrepreneurs, and part of our future depends on us growing our own companies, not just recruiting companies from outside the area.
So what once was started as a need to not have the city of Frederick flood, so we had a vision for a flood plan, is now truly Carroll Creek as an economic driver. You can see that we have over 850 businesses and over 6,000 jobs. It really is, if you're in retail, it's the place to be in the entire county. When Richard and I bring prospects in, whether they're going to land in the city or in the county, it's not by mistake that we eat somewhere around Carroll Creek, because it shows itself off so well. Are any beliefs that Frederick isn't a diverse population? Just walking around Carroll Creek shows our diversities and our culture and our warmth and friendliness. So it truly is a gem in our county.
So the Downtown Hotel and Conference Center is one that's in the paper quite often, and you may even have a few questions about it yourself. It is a vision that grew out of the Chamber of Commerce Major Employers Group. It has partners at the city, the county, the Tourism Council, the Downtown Frederick Partnership, and East Frederick Rising. We've been successful getting unanimous support on different levels for different things related to it. Most recently last week, the county council agreed to increase the transient hotel room occupancy tax from 3% to 5% to help fund tourism marketing in the county and to help our main streets, but also a component of that is to provide an incentive to developers in urban environments throughout the county to build five-star hotels with meeting space. So this project was awarded to the Plymouth Hospitality Partners Group. We have been successful getting support from the state legislature. We do have pre-authorizations for $15 million from them. We also have commitments from the city and the county to do tax increment financing on the project, as well as using some of the parking fund and the hotel tax dollars for paying off public improvements, not the private improvements. In this particular instance, I just want to be clear, the developers bring $53 million of private money to the table. No public dollars will help underwrite any part of their project. The $31 million of public money that's to be used in the project are only paying for structured parking, land, utilities and improvements around the site, and meeting space. That meeting space being space that will be dedicated to the public for use for many, many years to come to have conferences and do those kind of activities. And in addition to that, we're making the developer wholly responsible for all of its ongoing costs and operations with no ability for the developer to come back to the city, the county, or the state and ask for any kind of operational subsidies in the future. So we think we have a good model here. We know it's been controversial, but when it's built, it's going to generate more than $25 million worth of economic impact, and it's going to help attract businesses to the community and help serve.
So with that, I think because we want to be respectful of your time, we have about 5 minutes for questions. So we don't want to run right up to 1 o'clock and not answer your questions. So we have some extra slides. The slides specifically talk about areas around the county that we focus on. So we encourage you that when FCAR puts this link up, you can scan through for more details. But let's hear from you all on what questions you have for us.
Back up one slide.
Yeah.
Talk about Frederick works around the farm and Riverside Research Park.
That's your question? You want us to kind of talk about that? Sure, you can talk about that.
So a lot of the development has historically been south of I-70, or it's been on the north side of the city. The east side of the city, which was the industrial kind of backbone of the city for many, many years, has kind of sat fallow for a number of years now and is finally starting to come to fruition. Part of the reason it's coming to fruition is because public investment has been heading in that direction. We've just finished $16 million on Carroll Creek Park, the second phase, to carry it east towards the fairgrounds. We have Monocacy Boulevard, first section, which was finished, and second section, which has been bid out, and the bids have come back high, so we're in the process of trying to figure out where we're going to get the dollars to finish paying for it, but that section will be a 4-lane section all the way up to Riverside. So what's happened is now you've opened up the opportunity for development to occur on Frederick's east side. The Wren Farm, which is pictured here, is under contract to the Matten Company to deliver more than 1,000 new residential units and some retail. Walking distance to downtown, connected by trails back into downtown along Carroll Creek Park. You also have the Schley Farm, which will be delivered as probably some sort of employment use there. And you have East Church, which is already being built. And how many of you have sold homes in East Church? I see one hand, two hands.
Good.
I mean, that thing has really been humming over there. People seem to really like that community, and of course it's walking distance. So East Frederick has the opportunity to deliver several million square feet of new employment uses over the next few years, as well as several thousand new residential units, and houses our airport, which is growing as well.
Yes?
When will the Fredericktown Mall renovation by Walmart
The Fredericktown Mall is owned by a company called Rockwood Capital. They've been marketing it to Walmart. Walmart has has a lease, contractual lease on the property. We've had a grand opening there, or a groundbreaking, I'll say, but it's complicated by the fact that that building, the old mall, is connected. It's all of its HVAC, its electrical systems, and everything are all connected to all the other buildings. So there has been some work going on with regard to trying to disconnect those systems and make each of those buildings be able to be independent and stand on its own. Our hope is that we will see, the Fredericktown Mall be removed sooner rather than later and be redeveloped. So that's our goal and our hope, but we don't have an exact timeline on it.
How do you stop
So the question was, what's going on at East Alco? So I couldn't tell you about the Fredericktown Mall, but I do know a little bit about East Alco. So the rumor on the street is that it has been purchased, but that is just talk. We have not been told by East Alco officials who has purchased it. And I would guess that no matter who purchased it, there's going to be several years of non-development. So we're not sure if the purchaser wants to purchase it and sit on it for the next 15 years and wait to see if it can spin over to residential, or if it's truly being purchased to stay zoned general industrial, thank you, light industrial and agriculture in the county, and the county executive and the director of economic development would like to keep it manufacturing, but that property has not had any activity for many, many years, and the people who live around that property, very close to that property, have not seen trucks come on those roads for many, many years. So that's kind of where it is right now. But there is a lot of talk that Alcoa is signing a contract to sell it.
I've heard some rumblings of new retail space going in, I guess under the northwest corner of 15 and Monocacy Boulevard interchange, specifically Target. Any truth to that?
That project is called Northgate. It's Horning Brothers project. They donated the right-of-way for the new interchange that's going in, that's under construction up there, and it is going to be a major retail center. We do not have direct confirmation on any leases that have been signed at this time. We've heard the same. I've heard the same, rumor out there that you have, but I don't have any confirmation that that's the case. I will say, when you look at their concept plans, they have a couple big box opportunities on that site, so it certainly would not surprise us to see a big box retailer, or certainly perhaps another grocery store at that location up on that side of town. That interchange is really going to dramatically change driving habits and practices up in that northern sector, because tomorrow morning I have to take my 16-year-old son to go get his driver's license, and I've already made it abundantly clear to him that he will not make a left across 15 at any location, no matter where he's going. He can take the country roads, but it's not worth that. So this is really going to improve safety. It's going to improve movement back and forth between the east and west side of the city, but it's going to provide access to that new retail center.
Do you expect those cost overruns that you were talking about are going to delay that project?
No, the cost overruns are not related to that project. That is a separate, and that's a fully funded interchange at that point. The cost overruns I was talking about were on the second phase of Monocacy Boulevard, and they're related to the bids that we've gotten back in, and the bids are coming in higher than we expected. So we have, the county and the city are sharing the cost of that project. It was estimated at about $16 million, and each was putting in about a little over $8 million a piece on it. So construction costs are going up every day, and this is, but it's a project that has to be built. We can't not build it. So it'll be done. It just is a matter of how we cobble together the funding for it.
Thank you all. Thank you very much.